Hey, good morning, guys. For a lack of better things to do today, and I was going to particularly show this to Antonio more than anything else, is to tying snells for fishing up on the north end of Lake of the Woods. I've got set up a couple of different scenarios. I mean, you can use different hooks, whatever you want to use, but the biggest one here is a 4, followed by a 6 and an 8. 8's pretty small for walleyes, so I primarily use a 4 and a 6 when I'm fishing for walleyes. So that's what I'm going to tie a snell with. It's called an improved snell, and it was developed evidently by the guys that fished Lake Superior. But my take on this is it's actually a pretty good knot. It handles about 85 to 90% of the tensile strength of the line. Now I'm using 8-pound diameter mono just so you can see against a black background. So I start out by just kind of putting it through the eyelet. I pull out, I don't know, 3, 4 inches, maybe 5 inches, make one revolution on it, get a loop up on the top end of this thing. Then you stick both one thumb and index finger on the loop down here. If you need a little bit more, you pull it out of the bottom. It's pulling from the bottom here. So at any rate, what you want to do is to get your tag line up there, close to it, and your other lead lines in like that. Now, if you need a little bit more, pull a little bit more. But how I do this is I insert 2 fingers here and I rotate it around. You're going to go 7 wraps. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you can go more if you want. That's entirely up to you. After that, you don't let it uncoil or anything. And this will twist up end a little bit, but I pull the first tag lead in. What you're doing is pulling in from the back line, and you can feel it coming into the eyelet area. The second one is you start pulling on the other one. As it unravels, it will come into snug up. So you just check the tightness on there and the tightness on there. What you should see is pretty much a snell. The wraps, you can pull it down to the eyelet and then snug it up. And that's basically what it is. It's an improved snell. Now this one can be used for, you can fish a crawler on it. You can fish one hook and utilize one hook and use a crawler. You have to be a little more presence of aware of the bite. You're going to have to let them have a little bit longer. But that being said, you can also run a second hook up here, and I can show everybody how to do that. It's a 7 wrap, but if you're interested in seeing how I put the second hook on here, I can certainly do that at some other later dumb video here. But at any rate, I'm going to cut this line off and show you what the things that I've learned over the years as far as making snells. Now, when I make my own snells, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put some beads on it. And if I can find the holes here, I might be able to get them in. So I got 1. Beads don't really, they do make a difference. They're an attractant sometimes, but the size of the beads are kind of like up to your choice. Sometimes if they're more finessey, you might go with a smaller bead. And I got 3 of them on there. Now to put there's a small, I'm just going to run a small Colorado blade on here, and I've got a small clevis. Now that being said, see if I can get all of this stuff put in at one time. Go through 2 eyelets on there. Now this clevis is a wear point, and eventually it'll grind its way through your mono line. So at the end, what you're going to have is something that looks like this. Now, the reason for going with I do a minimum of 3 blades or 3 of the beads on there, and the reason I do that is, as you can see, if you were to take all of the 3 beads back and let this blade back into here, it's actually going to cover part of the hook at some point in time, or it may even get stuck against here. And when a fish bites, the possibility being is this willow leaf might be sitting at that kind of a position, is completely burying the hook. So I put a minimum of 3 beads on there. So you can put whatever you want on there for beads. It doesn't make any difference, but that's why I do a minimum of 3 blades. Now, if you had the second hook on here, the second hook would be obviously up in this area somewhere in there. And you can make it as long as you want or as short as you want. I wouldn't go much shorter than like 1.5 to 2 inches. You can put 3 on there, but to me, a 2 hook harness is more realistically lifelike when it comes to live bait than a two hook is more live action. You get more action out of a 2-1. Now you can also tie these same knots on braid line, like fire line. One of the things I do quite a bit is I run like 14-pound diameter test on when my at least 10, if not 14, on all my rods that I fish out of Lake of the Woods with. And I go to snells, and when I go to a snell like this, I will go with a smaller weight line. Reason being is if you snag up, rather than losing this guy in particular, for a set of these guys, these are $2.50 a piece. So I mean, you're losing, pretty close to like $3 whenever you snap everything off. Well, I just as soon lose a $1 snell as opposed to a $1 snell on a 250 weight. Because if you match it out at 14 and 14, well, which one's going to give? You don't know right offhand. So, at any rate, that was my little introduction into crappie videos from Alexandria. So we'll be talking to you guys. See you. Bye.